we've got this video here from Piers Morgan. This is called Coward. Kanye West / Ye walks out on Piers Morgan interview. Apparently Piers Morgan tried to interview Ye and it didn't work that well. Sneako was here in tow, over here cosplaying as Andrew Tate, I believe. So let's roll the clip and see how this went, because I haven't seen a Kanye West interview since I reacted to the Alex Jones interview, which was years and years and years ago, back on that was conducted on InfoWars. So let's see what this is like. And I think, guys, this is going to be the last video of the night, the last stream of the night, because I am running short on time here.
2 years ago, I interviewed Kanye Ye West on Uncensored after he'd made global headlines for anti-Semitic outbursts. Most outrageously, he tweeted that he wanted to go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. It was a heated interview. It was a long interview. I held him to account. I told him his remarks were offensive. He'd caused many people a lot of pain. And he gave me some back, of course. He called me a Karen. Fair enough, I can take it. At least we had a mostly grown-up conversation. These constant tirades, Ye, against Jewish...
Oh, I think I reacted to this too on stream, didn't I?
People.
Have you felt my pain yet? You haven't felt my pain. You don't want to feel my pain.
Well, no,
you don't hold la. You don't hold accountability.
You can't tell me nothing. Oh my goodness.
To my pain. You're being a Karen.
Do you believe that you have any form of mental illness?
I believe that I suffered from exhaustion. I suffered from being lied to constantly by the people around me, by my management, by my ex-wife.
Do you still love Kim?
I absolutely I'll love her for life.
That interview lasted 2 hours in the end. We covered a lot of ground. There were moments of tension and moments, I think, of mutual understanding. Yeah, he got up and walked off at one point, but he had to think about what he wanted to say, and then he came back and he said it.
And we'll have the top lawyers like a Johnny Cochran, Robert Kardashian level legal team, looking at all of these contracts together. After that moment happens, then I will say, I'm sorry.
That didn't happen, by the way. That didn't happen.
Okay, if that's your position, that's clear.
Interview adjourned. Love you.
Yeah, thanks for sitting back down. I'll change the subject now. Obviously, I have no idea what's going on in this guy's head, and he's unquestionably...
Yeah, I don't think anyone does. I think the nitrous is the only thing that knows what's going on inside of his head.
Genius artist with a global fan base and massive talent. He's lived most of his life under the microscope of intense fame, and that pressure alone can make people behave very oddly. Back then, I was trying to understand if...
But it's not... The thing is, Kanye West has been famous for a long time. I don't think you can blame this on fame. He wasn't acting like this before. This is all 100%. And I made a video of the 9 Movie Vlog channel a while ago. I have to go back and look for what it's called. But this is all because Kim broke up with him. He thought that if he turned to God, then God would give him Kim back. He did that for a year. That didn't work. So he looked for somebody to blame for Kim leaving him, because clearly because he tried to get Kim back. That didn't work. So he was like, well, I'm not going to get her back. So who do I blame? And he was like, oh, I know who I blame, the Jews. And so that's what he's been doing, blaming the Jews for not just Kim leaving, but for everything else that's wrong with society, how he's been wronged in the past. That's, I think, why Kanye West is where he is now. Of course, I don't know for sure. Again, the nitrous probably has a better idea of what's going on in Kanye West's head than I do, but that's just my opinion.
If Ye had any regret or remorse for what could have been a relatively isolated incident or some kind of episode. I wanted to know if he understood there are consequences for his words and whether he was genuinely a racist. What we now know is just the tip of the iceberg. As far as the watching public is concerned, Ye has spiraled in both his personal life and his business life. Most recently, he's taken to posting endless, outrageous anti-Semitic slurs on X. He frequently professes his great love for Adolf Hitler. He poses in swastikas and KKK costumes. He says things like Jews were better as slaves and they should be whipped. We all know this because X has allowed him to carry on doing it to his 33 million followers. I've argued for a long time his account should be shut down. It should be stopped. That's my opinion.
Oh, the great fan of free speech, I see.
I believe passionately in free speech and I detest censorship.
German free speech. Yeah. British free speech. Oh my goodness. No. Don't ask a Brit anything about free speech, man. Like, someone who lives in Britain, who thinks that especially thinks that the laws in Britain are fine when it comes to speech, they're not going to have like a full understanding of the importance of allowing people with all viewpoints to speak freely. I don't like what Kanye West is saying, but I think that he should have the right to say what he wants to say. I think it's good that he can say what he wants on X, especially considering that his profile is sort of limited to as being sensitive, right? Because then, I think it limits the spread of his content, right? If it's set as sensitive. So if you want to know what Kanye West has to say, you go there, you click a button, and you see it. But it shouldn't be infecting your X feed, if that makes sense. Also, it's strange, though, because I think there are worse raging anti-Semites on X that are not limited at all. But anyways.
Because I believe in the importance of sharing honestly held opinions in a democracy. But posting endless, vile, anti-Semitic insults, encouraging violence against Jewish people in these unhinged tirades on a privately owned platform has got nothing to do with free speech. I invited him back onto Uncensored.
Hold on. If he's actively encouraging violence, that's different than free speech. Like saying something so ridiculous as, I don't know, hey guys, go beat the nearest Jew is a little bit different than saying like, I love such and such leader from the 1920s in Germany. That's a little bit different. You know what I mean? So if he's spewing hateful rhetoric, I would say that it might be included in free speech as long as he's not telling people to actually go be violent.
Because at least on my show, I can call him out for what he's been doing and put myself in between the 33 million followers who see his posts without any challenge whatsoever. Our producer spotted that he was in Spain with his friend Sneako, and we invited both of them on for an interview. They very quickly agreed, and Sneako spent several days talking about it, but they mucked us around, a significant expense both in time and money to me, my crew in Spain, and my team here in London.
I hope he blows his nose before the interview begins.
More importantly, he didn't turn up yesterday. And said wanted to do it today. So it seemed to me then it might all just be a stunt. But I went ahead and said, okay, we'll have another go today. Ye told Sneako not to be offended if he stormed off very shortly before today's interview started. You can judge for yourself how it went and whether Ye has any respect or, frankly, any marbles. I'm not a shrink. But if you're so delusional or fragile you don't expect a journalist to ask you questions about your publicly stated love of Hitler, you should probably talk to somebody other than me. What followed, frankly, was a farce.
Oh,
I'm
fair.
giving you multi-tracks right now. I'm about to step in this interview, but I can hop back on in about whenever it's done. That nuance right there, it's idiotic. It just shows the hate that you put out for people that put love. There's so much love in the art that I put out.
What are you talking about?
I also love that Sneako, bro walks off. Yes, we all know that he walks out. But I love how Sneako is like wearing like earpods, but has them behind his back and is like pretending that they're IEMs. Like, bro, we know that's not an in-ear monitor, man.
This is somewhat entertaining. You know, this is going to be laughed at by many people. It's not what I expected,
what's entertaining?
But that was funny.
What?
Ye West is rarely out of the headlines at the moment. It's fair to say the headlines are equally rarely positive. The rapper, producer, and fashion designer is currently working on a new album. Several new tracks were previewed on a recent live stream with his friend Sneako, and both Sneako and Ye join me now. Well, welcome to Uncensored. Ye, we haven't spoken for a while. How are you?
I'm doing good. I don't use the term West, you know, the whole drop the slave name idea.
Okay, so we just call you Ye, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, look, when I last interviewed you, we had a long conversation. And since then, a lot has happened in your life. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to try and talk to you about some of this.
The way they both are checking their phones so much is so distracting. I wish, like, I don't know. I wish that they could just put their phones away for the interview at least.
How would you say your life is at the moment?
I mean, you see that view?
Yeah. Your life is good?
Well, judge it on the view as the answer to how my life is. Judge me by the view.
Well, the view is Mallorca. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. And for all intents and purposes, you seem very relaxed and happy. That is in direct contrast.
He doesn't look happy. He looks chill. Maybe a little relaxed. But he doesn't look happy. Bro isn't smiling. Bro's face is like this. I don't think that when you have a face that's like that, where you're not even like your little like smile lines or whatever are not even visible, I don't know if that necessarily means that he's happy.
To your public image at the moment over the last couple of years, led by your ferocious... Well, hang on, let me finish the question. Led by your ferocious use of...
No, but I already disagree. It's not in contrast. There's so many people and artists that are championing the idea of someone being able to just express who they really are and have been able to go through the war of being attacked by the banks, being attacked, you know, by... the banks. That's the best way to put it. Being attacked by the banks and to still be here with this view is, you know, that's the win. So I think I'm in contrast.
The amount of people who have been attacked by banks is very, very small. I want to say there was some alt-right person when the IDW was booming who like got banned from Chase Bank. Was it Milo Yiannopoulos? Someone who was like kind of like alt-right in the IDW space got banned from Chase Bank. But I only know of like one other person who's been banned from Chase Bank. So I think the banks are coming at you. Like, come on, fam. No, not in 2025 when we fixed a lot of racism, like systemic racism and stuff. Like, no, it ain't like that, bro.
That's your contrast.
Okay, but the point I was going to make is that I watch what you put out on X. You've got 32 million followers, so you're one of the most followed people.
See, wait. Now look right now. You're not gonna take inches off my dick, bro. Like, how many followers do I have?
Well, how many is it?
I think you could do the study. You got a whole staff over there.
I thought it was 32 million. How many is it? You obviously know.
I mean, no. I mean, don't help them out. You know, they.
I'm told it's 33 million now. So congratulations. You're slightly bigger following than I thought.
No, congratulations. Your information is correct. You're not just some, you know, dude trying to sub. You know, I'm a gift, bro. You know what I mean? Why do all you people in media act like you haven't played my songs at your weddings or graduations or at funerals or when your child was born? You know,
that doesn't have anything to do with the amount of subs that he has, that or followers on X or like this. Things like this make me think that like something is just wrong with his brain, and that makes it hard for me to take him seriously as even a Germany fanatic, let's say, because you know if your brain's all the way there, you know how closely can you even or accurately can you even genuinely adhere to some of the hateful rhetoric that you're spewing?
Take somebody that's living like a Lenin, Michael Jackson, and you just take all this time to just like that nuance right there. It's idiotic. It just shows the hate that you put out for people that put love. There's so much love in the art that I put out.
With all due respect, what are you talking about? I haven't said anything.
What are you talking about? It's dirty.
I mean, the only love that I see is for the H dude. That's the only love I see. The only love I see is for like 1920s Germany and the double H. That's all I see.
Okay, now you're not taking accountability or responsibility.
Literally, you said it. You implied that
I
played
played
your music. Of course, I played your music.
No, sir. This is what you get for now. We can circle back when you can count.
Okay.
Yo,
Where's he gone?
this is crazy. He walked off the set because he got the number wrong of how many followers he has on X. This is not a guy to be taken seriously at all.
There you go.
It's fitting that Sneako was sitting right next to him, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it for Ye. But it's nice to meet you, Piers.
Where's he gone?
I think he's just going back to work. There's several things he's working on. I was not aware he was going to leave like this, but it seems like he got upset about the...
So it's all just a game, is it? Is that the idea?
Followers. I mean, life is a video game, is it?
No, I just wonder what the point of this exercise
Going back to his more wholesome roots there. Yeah, that was. I miss the old Sneako.
was. Was he supposed to do an interview or not?
Are you supposed to do an interview? But I mean, the amount of Twitter followers, something like that, it's patronizing for no reason. You said his name incorrectly. You know his name is Ye. This is very public about that. Hopefully we could do it. I think this was good. We were prepared for a good interview. But come on, you know what you were doing.
What do you think I'm doing?
I think you were trying to patronize very intentionally by getting those two things, under his skin. Maybe it could have been about past interviews or because of what happened yesterday. But, I mean, this information is not that difficult to get right.
But if, let's say, for example, that Ye is like getting an insane amount of followers, like every single day on X, and his account is growing, then it's reasonable to think that you'd be wrong. If you did your research yesterday and then he got another million in one day, that's not that big of a deal. That's not that big of a deal at all. And he actually asked in the beginning, do you prefer to be called Ye or do you prefer to be called Kanye West? And then Ye said, Ye, call me Ye. So like, this is, and I'm pretty sure this is all just a grift to, like, Sneako's just trying to grow as a content creator and like as a person. So he's just cozying up to Ye because this is the biggest that he's ever been. And he wants to keep growing. So this is all like a career move for him. And I don't know if he even holds this opinion genuinely of even how this interview went.
Yeah, we called him Ye, and we got his Twitter following count wrong by 1 million, from 32 to 33 million. Also, for the record, you guys dicked us around yesterday, and you seem to find that very entertaining and amusing in your live stream, which I'm sure you will now. You kept all my crew in Spain and here waiting, and then wasted their time. And then you got us all back now, and you've wasted our time again. And you again may find that funny and entertaining, and that's fine. I don't. I think it's a total waste of everyone's time and effort and money.
Well, I mean, it is. I was ready for the interview yesterday, too. My time is important as well, regardless if it was wasted. We have to admit this is somewhat entertaining. This is going to be laughed at by many people.
What's entertaining?
That was funny. That's undeniably walking off right into the beginning of an interview.
No, it wasn't funny. It was pathetic. It was pathetic. And if you're laughing at how pathetic it was. So don't do that. Don't do that. If you're laughing at all, you're laughing at someone's how pathetic someone is. Like, no, don't try to play that game.
Funny.
Yeah. Out of interest, what do you do with him?
I'm working on several films right now. I am streaming out here, I'm editing, and I work on things behind the scenes, some inspiration for art. I'm just there to try to help fulfill his vision.
Well, let me ask you the questions I would have asked him. So, I mean, out of interest, what is with his obsession with Hitler? Why is he so rampantly anti-Semitic?
I'm not going to answer questions on his behalf.
Well, you're going to have to, because he's not there.
Questions on his behalf.
He's not there.
What's that? What's that?
He's not there. Literally, he's dropping a track today called Heil Hitler. Why are you happy to be associated with somebody like that, out of interest?
That's a fair question.
I'm not going to speak on his art and his vision while he's not here.
No, he said, okay, because he understood. You already said I'm not going to answer for him. So then Piers Morgan kind of changed his question. It was like, okay, because of Ye's anti-Semitic behavior, why are you okay with being associated with him? Sneako should maybe listen, make the adjustment, and then respond appropriately to the question he was asked.
I'm asking you why you're happy to be associated with somebody who most of the world believes is now a rampant anti-Semite.
Well, you're associated as well. Your show's called Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Yeah.
You tried to get him censored on X. And here you are on the days we're going to release this song doing an interview with him. So we're all involved here. It's not like I'm the only one complicit.
Yeah,
no, because Piers Morgan's connection and association with Ye is opposing him and viewing him as a raging anti-Semite, as he should. Sneako's association with Ye is thinking that he is good and actively supporting him, not just morally, not just vocally, but materially, helping him bring his art into the world. Very different types of things, very different types of connections and associations here that Sneako's trying to pull here. These are very, very different. I don't think it was a fair comparison at all to make.
The reason I wanted to get him on was because I don't think anyone holds him to account for anything he does on X. And in fact, he deliberately breaches all of X's rules, and yet he does it with impunity and is allowed to do it, whereas millions of other accounts get suspended for far less offenses. So I was going to ask him directly, which is why I mentioned his X following. I was going to ask him about what he puts on X and why he does this, why he continually attacks Jewish people, why he continually celebrates Adolf Hitler. And then I'm curious about, given he's not there, can't answer these questions, what your association is with this guy and whether you're comfortable to be associated with somebody who most people consider to be an anti-Semite.
I think I just answered this question. And these are good questions. I think I just answered half of that.
We haven't answered the question, have you?
But I mean, if I did, you said, what are you doing out here? And I said, I'm doing films and I'm recording behind the scenes and I'm streaming.
But why? Why are you associated with him is the main question.
I'm editing and helping fulfill his vision.
Have you been helping him with the track Heil Hitler?
No, I don't. I'm not a music guy. And if you wanted to get questions about his Twitter or X correct, then you should have got the number of followers correct. That was something intentional that you knew what you were doing.
So I got the size of his dick wrong. Is that what you say?
Well, if you know everything else that he's tweeting, you should have got that right as well.
Oh, don't be so pathetic, Sneako. Honestly, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get good content which will promote you, Sneako. And I'm just curious how you, Sneako, deal with the fact that you are so openly associating yourself now with somebody who seems to worship Adolf.
And he hasn't answered the question. Why do you think he's asking the same question 3 times? It's because he hasn't gotten an answer yet. He said, why are you associated with him? And what's his answer? Oh, I like working on films. I like The View. Like, what?
Of Hitler and is pro the Nazis. Do you feel comfortable about that?
No, we worship God.
He worships Adolf Hitler.
I'm here promoting this. We could talk about how pathetic it is that
Adolf Hitler.
That you were essentially working for Israel up until a couple months ago and promoting
when was I working for Israel?
Like genocide and not pushing back.
When was I working for Israel?
If it's pathetic to make films behind the scenes of one of the greatest living artists, probably the greatest living artist,
well, he certainly was.
You point the finger at you.
He certainly was a great. He was a great artist. Unfortunately,
I think he's still a pretty good artist. I don't know if he's great now. I mean, the music that he makes is good to an extent. I mean, of course, you got to disregard the lyrics, but it's not pathetic to be making a movie for a renowned artist. That's not what's pathetic. What's pathetic is to do so and not push back against the anti-Semitism, right? To sort of stuff down your I guess your conscience or whatever, and just like swallow the pill and of being associated with an anti-Semite just to work on this stuff. Like if Sneako was going up to Ye and being like, hey, I don't like what you're saying. What you're saying is wrong. And I'm going to say publicly that what you're saying is wrong and incorrect. I like making movies, so I'm going to make a movie with you. But I'm also going to publicly oppose everything that you're saying on X. That would not be pathetic. But what's pathetic is pretending that what Ye is doing is okay. And then, doing that very clearly just to further your own career. You're grifting. It's basically what you're doing.
He's become a rampant anti-Semite who adores Adolf Hitler, embraces Nazism, uses swastikas,
I'm pretty sure he says he loves everyone.
To sell his
I'm not
merchandise,
going to speak
and
for
has
him,
a new record out called Heil Hitler. So forgive me if I don't currently see him as one of the
everything you're
world's
saying
great
in this question
artists.
is incorrect.
Yeah, but I don't see
everything
him.
you're saying in this question is incorrect.
Sorry?
The song isn't out. The song isn't out for one. And two, he says he loves everyone. He says he loves Jews. He says he loves Hitler. He says he loves...
Okay, but where's my Ye and Frank song then? Ye. Make the Ye and Frank song. Okay? Make the I Love George Washington song, okay? But you're not gonna do that because your claims to loving everyone are extremely disingenuous.
Loves everybody. But
so when he says, let me ask you, given you're the one sitting there, he said Jews were better as slaves. You have to put your Jews in their place and make them into your slaves. You then said make your Jews work for you, but watch them as close as you can, whip the Jews. You comfortable with that, Sneako?
Is that the type of thing that would be said by someone who loves everyone? No. Not a chance. This is ridiculous.
I find it funny. That's not something that I would do personally. I don't whip anybody.
You think it's funny, do you? Whipping Jews?
Slavery.
Using Jews as slaves? You think that's funny?
I think the context of that is funny, yeah.
Well, I got to give him a little bit of credit for saying that he doesn't endorse what's being said there. If you read between the lines, that's what Sneako's saying. But he's excusing it as a joke, which is really bad. Like, because there's no punchline. It's maybe silly, but only in the absurdity of the opinion. It's not an actual proper joke, right? And so laughing out of absurdity and laughing out of humor are not exactly the same thing.
Also, to remove any sense of humor,
I'm missing the humor. What's the humor?
Do you want me to break down a joke for you?
You think it's a joke, do you, about whipping Jews?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a joke because I've been here for a couple weeks and he hasn't whipped any Jews.
Really? So because
to be fair, he probably hasn't found any Jews to whip because they're so afraid of him because of how anti-Semitic he is on X. You think he was gonna hire some Jews and whip them? Like, what is Sneako insinuating here? That doesn't make any sense.
He hasn't actually whipped any yet.
Yeah, he really has. He hasn't whipped any Jews.
Really? So because he hasn't actually whipped any yet, that's a joke.
He really has.
Yeah.
Really has. But Piers, before I leave, I don't want to speak on his behalf. If you're agreeing that he's the greatest living artist right now.
You set this farce up. He's dicked us around. You're the one left. So you're going to have to be accountable for him. Unless you want to walk away too.
Accountable? What do you want to hold me accountable?
If you don't want to answer questions either, you are free to stand up and walk away like a little sniveling
coward. Well, you can ask questions.
Too.
If you have questions for me, then I'll feel free to answer those.
Here's my question for you. Why is your mate Ye?
Is this whole thing going to be interrupting, or is this whole thing just going to be interrupting? Or do you want me to speak at all?
You're sounding like Andrew Tate Light, like his annoying little younger brother we never knew about. Okay, doesn't work with me. Okay,
let's go.
You set this thing up. It's obviously some kind of elaborate prank.
Okay, your team asked me to do this. If you want to be Netanyahu Light on TV,
given you want to
be Dave Portnoy with the suit,
that's fine.
Then sure. If you want to do ad hominem attacks, then why invite someone on your show? I set this up because your team asked me to do it. I did everything that I could. If I knew that this would, I'm not here wasting your time. You're angry at me for setting up an interview that you wanted. If you have questions for me, I'm happy to answer those.
Here's
if you
my
want
question.
to keep doing insults, there's no point in me being here.
Why did Ye stand up like a sniveling little coward and walk away before I could ask him difficult questions?
I would have just asked him the question of why are you, what is it about Kanye West that makes you so excited to be associated with him, or why are you associated with him and are you okay with being considered anti-Semitic considering things that Ye has done? I think it's fair for Sneako to be like, well, I'm not Ye, so I'm not going to answer for him. I think that's a fair response. And I do think that Piers Morgan should have respected that sentiment and being like, okay, I'm going to ask questions about you. And Sneako's been around for a while. There are a lot of things you could ask Sneako about if you did show prep. about Sneako. You knew that Sneako was going to be part of the interview because you mic'd him up and you gave him an earpiece. So I do think that he should have had some show prep ready for Sneako with questions asked Sneako as well. Could have been an interview with both folks. And then if Ye walks out, you can ask questions of Sneako. And if Sneako walks out, you can ask questions of Ye.
The third time, Piers, I don't know if you have a hearing problem, but I'm not going to answer questions on another man's behalf. But
Really?
thank you for
Even though
having
you
me.
set up the interview with him?
Another time, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
thank
that in
you.
from me? He's a sniveling little coward. And he's an anti-Semite and a Hitler worshipper. That's what I would have asked him if he'd had the balls to sit there and take the questions. And there you are, proudly associating yourself with him. Good luck to you, Sneako.
Crazy.
Everyone can see you for what you are.
Wow.
Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent.
That was awful. That was awful. Once the guy proceeds to beg for an interview. Well, it's different because if you're given a platform to say whatever you want, that's entirely different than being in an interview where you're being challenged. I think it's a completely different arena. Very, very different things.